As the Middle East teeters on the edge of catastrophe and a hot war with Iran, according to a recent Politico report, the Biden administration is apparently happy about the state of affairs. And while publicly we have heard from Biden argue that an expanded regional war would be a disaster and he wants to prevent it, it turns out behind the scenes, the US government was kind of egging Israel on. Now, what do I mean by that? An anonymous senior White House official who spoke to Politico said that presidential advisor Amos, Hochstein, and McGurk, the White House coordinator for the Middle East, told top Israeli officials in recent weeks that the US agreed with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's broad strategy to shift Israel's military focus to the north against Hezbollah in order to convince the group. This is the funniest statement. In order to convince the group to engage in diplomatic talks to end the conflict.
How? It's the exact opposite.
Okay. So in mid-September, there were calls and meetings where Israeli officials had outlined broadly what their military was planning to do and how they were planning to make that shift. And Hochstein and McGurk, remember these are US officials, relayed to their Israeli counterparts that while they still urged a cautious approach, the timing was likely opportune for such a move, especially after Hezbollah had been significantly degraded in the months prior. So on one hand, the argument is Hezbollah poses such a severe threat to Israel, even with their sophisticated defense capacity and their sophisticated military capability, which is paid for by the US taxpayer. Okay, but then on the other hand, they say, no, striking Hezbollah right now is actually it's an opportune moment, especially because their capabilities have been degraded. So which one is it? Are they an imminent threat to Israel, or are they weak and not much of a threat at all?
It doesn't matter because it's just shell game. It's just talking point shell game. Which talking point would you like? We have infinite excuses to kill Muslims, human shields, they had it coming, they started it, they hate Jews, if they offended me, etc. And the real reason is donors that care for Israel have given hundreds of millions of dollars to US politicians who are completely corrupt. That's the actual answer. It's heartbreaking, but it's real.
Now, not everyone in the Biden administration was on board for this, probably because they understood that once you engage in war, things can get pretty unpredictable. And when you can't control everything, things can get out of control. So figures in both the Pentagon and the State Department, in addition to members of the intelligence community, worried that encouraging Israel to go after Hezbollah would drag the United States into another war. Some were even concerned about the civilian death toll. Oh wow, are they not merciful? In Lebanon specifically, which has now passed 1,600 people, at least 1,600 people in Lebanon already killed by Israel's military activity there. But it is obvious which side won the debate within the Biden administration. Behind the scenes, Hochstein, McGurk, and other top US national security officials are describing Israel's Lebanon operations as a history-defining moment, one that will reshape the Middle East for the better for years to come.
Oh, war is gonna reshape it in a positive way, huh? So just note, Hochstein and McGurk are terrible human beings.
They sure are. So the thinking goes, Israel has obliterated Hezbollah's top command structure in Lebanon, severely undercutting the group's capabilities. And
what capabilities? They can't hit anything anyway.
And weakened Iran, which used Hezbollah as a proxy and power projector. Now, it is true, they did, at least for the time being, decapitate Hezbollah by taking out its leadership. But I now turn to John Mearsheimer. He's a political scientist. He's also one of the authors behind a book that everyone should read. It's called The Israel Lobby. He talks about what the reality is on the ground in Lebanon. Let's take a look.
The Israelis clearly scored a stunning tactical victory by decapitating the leadership of Hezbollah. There's no question about that. but they'll replace those leaders. And more importantly, there are 40,000 fighters in the South who are armed to the teeth with all sorts of weaponry and who have dug trenches and have built all sorts of capabilities into the terrain, which is rugged terrain to begin with, that'll make it very difficult for Israel to prevail in that conflict. And then if you take it a step further, even if Israel does prevail, they're stuck in southern Lebanon, maybe even in central Lebanon as well. And they've been there, done that, and it didn't work out very well in 1982. And there's no reason to think it's going to work out well this time. And again, you want to remember that they still have their hands full in Gaza.
Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just want to urge you to lend your support to TYT. You power our honest reporting. You do it at tyt.com/team, and we love you for it.
And they could have their hands full in Iran soon, Cenk.
Yeah, I mean, look, but at this point, I don't know if Iran and Hezbollah are holding back some sort of capability, but I'm beginning to believe that they don't have capability. And so I was worried about Iran's army, and I think that if you go into Iran itself, then you're asking for a nightmare, because we saw what happened in Iraq, and that was the US military. We got our asses handed to us in Iraq and Afghanistan, and as I've told you many times, Iran is 4 times larger. But can Iran actually reach Israel? It takes them forever to get there. Israel has the best defense shields in the history of humanity. Hezbollah can't hit anything at all. So maybe Netanyahu is thinking the only way I can get them to kill Israelis so we can get my population could get even angrier and reelect me and start even more wars is I have to bring the Israelis to them. Like if I bring them into southern Lebanon or maybe central Lebanon or Iran, and then at some point they're gonna have to kill our soldiers, right? Because we're invading and taking their land. And then we'll get to call them terrorists again. We'll get to pretend that they're the violent ones again.
Right.
As we're occupying their homes and taking their land, we'll pretend we're the victims.
Yeah.
So, but right now,
we
look,
don't know.
I feel conflicted, Anna, because at this point, I don't know what their capabilities are, and maybe it's nothing, and they're just going to continue to get slaughtered to the end of time. And then Israel's and America is going to be elated. Oh, it turns out we can murder them ad nauseum, but they can't even fight back. You see how we're the victims? Wait, what? Okay.
Iran has said over and over and over again, and I think their actions bear out that they do not want a hot war.
Oh, there's no question, and I want to get to that too, because look, the other possibility is that Iran is scared. Their leadership
they
in Iran.
Should be.
Yeah, and so I get it. And by the way, look, we're the most honest show. I can't stand these Israeli invasions and attacks and nonstop civilian massacres, right? But their idea is if we kill enough of them, they'll get scared. Maybe the leadership of Iran got scared. Maybe that's part of it. And they think, well, if we do an effective strike against Israel, we're all dead. And remember, the Mossad infiltrated Iran so thoroughly that they killed their top 20 scientists. They were the guys that were trying to track down Israeli spies. It was actually Mossad. So they didn't track down, they were the Israelis.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a spectacular success in terms of intelligence within Iran. So Iran and Hezbollah, of course, are human beings. They're gonna be nervous about them dying. And remember, Israel kills family members. So they wait, there was that Daddy Project, Where's Daddy Project, where they would wait for suspected militants picked by a computer to go home first so they can murder their family along with them. So they're probably worried like, hey, and one of the scientists that they killed, well, they killed him right in front of his kids in a kindergarten, in front of a kindergarten, etc. So they're thinking, well, the Israelis are, I mean, there's certain words I'm not allowed to use.
War criminals?
Yeah, so okay, let's keep it simple and call them war criminals. They'll kill my grandkids, they'll kill my parents, they'll kill anyone. They'll kill anyone, right? So, and I know a lot of Israelis hear that and go, yes, that'll show those dirty Muslims who are so violent. And if we kill enough of their children and grandchildren, then we will be safe. And that is the most important thing in the world. If everyone else is dead, but we're safe, we're good.
I mean, did you feel safe today?
Yeah,
but seriously.
But they do, they feel invincible because they keep attacking and killing and attacking and attacking. And there's no effective strike back. So they're thinking, who cares? We don't value these Muslim lives anyway. So please spare me that it's like, of course some Israeli citizens do care. Of course there's decent people inside Israel, right? But is it the majority? No, the majority very clear, 75% of Jewish Israelis wanted to go into invade Lebanon. So, and they know that they're gonna kill thousands of civilians. And then when they do, they're gonna say, who cares, collateral damage. But you invaded them. Well, they're bothering us with the rockets, and so we had to do it. Well, look, guys, the bottom line is the occupation. If just the absurdity of American media pretending that these countries are attacking is like firing the ineffectual rockets to Israel for no reason, just because they woke up that morning and they're like, oh, my coffee's a little bitter. Oh, I hate Jews. No, it's absurd. It's absurd. No, it's because they're occupying the Palestinians and they're doing resistance. I think they're doing it in the wrong way, and I believe in nonviolence. But now I'm saying economic boycott and shaming of the Israelis for their endless, brutal occupation of the Palestinians. And people say that's so cruel. The words you're using, I mean, you can't use words against Israelis. You can't use violence against them. You can't use words. You can't use diplomacy. You can't use dollars. You can't use anything against the Israelis. They have a giant shield over the whole country. They can do whatever they want. But God forbid you even criticize Israel, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble. So this is, and guys, they're fermenting more and more anti-Semitism. That's reason number 2, but among 88, 1,000 reasons why I can't stand what they're doing. Because you think people aren't seeing this and going, what's the one country that gets all of the protections, all of the military, all of the weapons, impunity, and the rest of, and they do it with immunity? You think that's not gonna drive anti-Semitism? Are you nuts? It's driving record anti-Semitism. How is this helping Israel? It only helps the warmongers.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.